Hi guys, this is me, Lucy Spill. So in my part 2, I will be going into more of Meggie Poo's single-minded, relentless social climbing, delving into Mexit of course, and more of Meggie Poo's trying to look impressive, but embarrassment always follows her at least 100 yards ahead. Everything I talk about in my videos is my opinion only, so sit back, relax, grab yourself a cuppa or a drink of your choice and enjoy. Firstly, I just want to apologise for my puffiness of my eyes hitting you in the face right now, as in the UK, hay fever season is now upon us. So if you see a little tear in my eye, don't worry, I'm not crying. Well, I could be crying at laughter at the level of cringeworthy, relentless social climbing that Meggie Poos is doing. She is an absolute walking parody of herself. I think we can all agree. So I do realise in my part 1 I did leave a lot of things out, but I think we'd agree I would be here all day if I went through her absolute relentless social climbing. So I did leave it at Princess Eugenia's wedding and the very peevish, sorry, got it out, peevish thing she did there, which was out that she was pregnant with a little food bloke that she had there in a very oversized coat, totally stealing Princess Eugenia's thunder. And I believe it was the pettiness over the tiara that she wanted. Now, the only thing that springs to mind about that, the whole Princess Eugenie thing, is grotesque. There you go, a very British word for you. So something else I forgot to add was 2 years prior in 2014 for meeting Has, even though she didn't know anything about him, she was holding a front cover spread celebrating, as she called her, Princess Kate. That's not her title. Can you imagine if someone got Meggie Poo's title wrong? Ooh, yeah, so she's there celebrating away Princess Kate, as she called her. No, she was Her Royal Highness, Her Royal Highness, the Duchess of Cambridge at the time, my love. But oh my God, God forbid if someone forgot her title. But the only difference, she doesn't have the HRH. She will never be Her Royal Highness ever again. And I think that's something that is a little bit of a sting for her. So now we come to Mexit. Now I know there's things I've left out pre-Mexit, but like I said, it would be a 24-hour experience and you'd all need packed lunches if I was to go through it all. So now we come to the whole freedom flight, because Has and Meggie Poos thinks the world are as stupid as they are, because they said they were going to a Commonwealth country, being Canada. They knew what they were doing. And a question I always wondered was, why did Meggie Poos leave most of her stuff over in Canada when she came to live in the UK if she wasn't planning on swiftly returning? But them staying in Canada lasted as long as my New Year's resolution, as Canada was just as Canada was just an airport lounge to California, as predicted. Sorry, looking at my notes there. I'm so sorry, guys. So, more lies and fairy tales from Has and Ms. Yes, she is a Ms. Markle because she's a divorcee, as she had a 10-year marriage to Trevor Ingleston, who started her off on a social climbing, but I'm not going to delve into all that history. God, I'll be here all week. So, something that had never happened that has happened now. So, back in 1936, King Edward the King Edward the Eighth, it was. Fact check me though. King Edward the Eighth wanted to marry an American actress called Wallis Simpson. Now, in order to do that, he had to abdicate from the throne. And if that never happened, we would have never had our amazing Queen Elizabeth. So, thank you, Miss Wallis. Thank you. That's all I can say. Because we got our lovely Queen Elizabeth because King Edward III abdicated due to marrying an American actress. So this has never happened before in the royal family until Meggie Pooh shows up. But the late Queen had modernised the royal family so much, obviously since 1936. So we have to remember at the time Has was the second favourite royal to the Queen. Ooh, how that's changed now. So I think he was given special treatment, definitely, because the public also wanted to see him married and settled down and yeah, they were desperate to because he was so liked, so embraced in this country, but he stumbled across an actress who was prepared to fake it until she made it. Something Maggie Pooh's was very determined to do back then, but couldn't keep up her amazing acting skills as they deteriorated over time, as Meg's version of being real feels like method, got it out, method acting that never bloody ends. So when Has married Maggie Pooh's, he took the express lift all the way down to the basement as he's just above Andrew now. Ooh, and he went from happy-go-lucky Has before he married Maggie Pooh's to just as determined as her, just with a few less brain cells, to sad sack. Shout out to one of my favourite cartoons from the early 90s, the Raggy Dolls, and here is Sad Sack. Yep, sums him up pretty well, doesn't it? Sorry guys, something I forgot to mention. Back when in 2017, this was I think, when Maggie Pooh's was just a girlfriend, she was invited to Balmoral. And this was unheard of at the time for a girlfriend. It has to be a wife. But she accepted that invite faster than you can say future Duchess. But once married, she declined and decided to take Has over to Canada to spend Christmas over there. Why? Why? But that is so sad because it would have been the last time he would have seen his very ill-stricken grandfather, Prince Philip at the time, who he knew was very ill, and it would have been also the last Christmas he would have spent with the late Queen also, and that is just deplorable. But does not give an F about any of that. And Maggie Pooh's does not give a shit. Not at all. Plus, that is something Princess Catherine had to wait 10 years for. She had to jump through hoops in order to get that invite to Balmoral. She had to actually be married to Prince William. The hoops she had to jump through in the royal family, it is so obvious that Has is getting was getting special treatment, but then went on a worldwide rant about the royal family, even though he was given so, him and Meggy Poos was given so much good grace. But they went on a worldwide rant with Meggy Poos taking the lead as per. And when they fooled the world by saying they'd moved to Canada, Meggy Poos told a fair few porkies. So this was after this Sandringham summit. I know I didn't go through that. Like I said, I'd be here all year. So anyway, this was during the first year that the Queen gave them to reconsider for some reason. But she did give them, because she dearly loved her grandson, she did. So she wanted to give him a year to reconsider. But when it came to their security at the Sandringham summit, she said nope to that. They weren't going to pay for the security. So Meggy Pugh started some manipulation here and claimed she was burgled over in Canada 3 times, was it? And the police came all 3 times and found nothing. And that was on your dime, Canada. That was wasting all your resources. They were. Plus, you guys were paying for your blah 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 blah. Your taxes. There we go. Your taxes were also going on them guys for a fair bit. So I bet your I can't think of the right word, but about that. So yes, that whole pointless stay in Canada was all on your dime. The whole lie that they told was all on your resources, your taxes. That is so annoying. They did it to us in the UK for a very long time, so I feel for you, Canada. I really do. But she's not only a drain on taxes, she's a drain on bloody society. So on this freedom flight, freedom flight, freedom flight, got it out in the end. Do you think they didn't leave with some cushy deals under their belt? Of course they did, because of those bloody titles. So they got 20k from Spotify deal and 100k from Netflix. Now from Netflix, we've had a 6-hour snooze-a-thon with Keeping Up with the Sussexes, sorry, speech impediment, and with Love Meghan. Oh, we all loved With Love Meghan the same way we love stepping on effing Lego. But yeah, so I will delve more into With Love Meghan, and allegedly Netflix are going to drop them very soon. And I hope they drop them in the same brutal way Spotify did, and Bill Simmons outing them left, right, and centre. I loved that. So, how could I end this video without talking about Marcus Anderson, which you will be hearing a lot of in my part 3. Now, this is where the real story of how they met, not quite the fairy tale they tried to sell us. So, but with Marcus Anderson, I honestly believe this would have been a 3-way relationship if it wasn't for his sexual preference, as he was always there in the background of every pap stroll or whatever they do. So, but he was a friend of Meggy Poo's through Soho House over in Canada, and that's how he connected Meggy Poo's and has through Soho House. Not something a prince of the UK should really be doing. So yeah, they tried to sell us a few fairy tales, but I don't think any kind of fairy tale has started with a booking at Soho House. So Marcus Anderson is someone you'll be hearing from a lot in my part 3. And yeah, I knew I'd have to do this in 3 parts because wowee, I didn't think it would take this long with her absolutely, like in my titles, relentless social climbing that is going on forever and still trying to go on. So I'm trying to catch up. So yeah, I will do it. I'll do, hopefully, what I have to do a part 4, just a part 3. I'm so sorry, guys. So in my part 3, I'll be finally going into everything she's been trying to do in the States. Um, and obviously, I'm going to be mentioning again what Bill Simmons said. Obviously, that's going to be in there. And yeah, obviously, the Hollywood elite wanting nothing to do with her and her cringe-worthy trying to cling on to them so bad. And yeah, and this is sorry, this is the other thing. I'll be going into the Markles a lot as well, as they outed her little story she told whilst in the royal family. Sorry, I forgot to mention this as well. So while she was in Fiji, she said she did a word salad speech that no one can. It's just all words, no substance. But was it within this speech? The only thing I understood is that she paid her own way through college and lived on salad. Nope, that's not what happened, and I'll go into it in my part 3. Much love.